Okay, so good evening to everyone as others are joining our session today. Let's just get started. We already have more than 10 participants. Well, I hope that others will also get to join us throughout the session. Okay, so welcome back, and we are more than happy to see you here. That's the continuation of the digital storying workshop we had last year. We have some participants from previous workshop. I can see Ms. Bonusa here. And this workshop is quite similar and a little bit different um, from the previous workshop. So in this workshop, we are going to concentrate on writing mostly. So those of you who have participated in our opening session, you already know that we have been discussing memoir and its difference from the autobiography, and it's our very first practical session. So I have received lots of questions regarding the schedule, timing. So that's why let's just start from this point. Our sessions will be provided on Zoom once on Fridays. We will have live sessions on Fridays at 7 p.m. and I will explain the skills that you need to have, and I will guide you through your writing journey. And on Thursdays, for 1 hour from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., we will have discussions on Telegram. All of you are welcome to submit your works, peer review, and discuss your works. So we'll have discussion session on our group on Telegram. So on Zoom, I see you all on Fridays at 7 p.m. So as you have already your so you have already submitted your skills and your that's right. Okay, I'll first. Okay. Can I please kindly ask you to mute yourselves for now? Hi, Saliha. Nice to meet you too. We are receiving greetings in the chat as well. So let's get started. We have some new participants as well, other than the ones that we had in the previous session. So during the session, we will get a chance to know them. Right. So everyone, welcome to Women's Memoir Writing Club. And you may think that it's only women's club, but we have some male participants as well, and you are welcome to join our club as well. We will do mostly writing here, and our writing will mostly consider women's issues and emotions. So everyone is welcome to this club if you are willing to take the commitment of writing. So we have some new participants today. Let's firstly give the floor to them and let's get to know some of our new participants, and then we'll probably get started. Okay, is there anyone from our newly joined participants who would like to introduce themselves? Or are you feeling shy?
Okay, I'm new here.
Okay.
My name is Umida and I'm from Fergana and I'm an English teacher. And I'm interested in writing, of course. Especially, I want to something. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Umida. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. So anyone else would like to introduce themselves? So I think it's better to stop sharing now and to see all our participants list. Yes, maybe they're just feeling shy. Okay, we have this many participants today. And now I can see that Mohinur is back, and also Munisa we have met last time, Durapo, and we had Zilola. Okay, so I think we didn't meet with Saliha, right? She just sent her greetings on chat. So welcome, Saliha. If you would like to introduce yourself, you're welcome.
Hello everyone, I'm Saliha from Tashkent. I hope you can hear me because I have some problems with the internet connection. I'm a graduate student for Language University, and I'm a participant of the Women's Leadership Programs sponsored by the U.S. Department.
Thank you. Thank
And I'm
you.
very interested in writing short stories. Yeah,
Great. So then you're in the right
thank
place.
you too.
Thank you. We have Gushada Khan, right? She's also a new participant. Can you please introduce yourself? I think she's having internet connection problems. Gushada, can you hear us, please? Okay, so the newly joined participants, you can just send your greetings on the chat and we'll get to know what's your name and where you are from, okay? So let's get started. Today is our very first practical session, and in our today's session, we are going to start the basics of writing memoirs. So, okay, so in this week, we are going to learn how to map and brainstorm ideas for your very first memoir. We will have a little discussion, we will discuss the writing basics, and upon our today's session, you will be able to create your very first draft of your memoir. So let's get started. So on the first place, today you guys will be learning the memoir writing basics and discuss the ideas and see some examples of good memoirs. And of course, we will develop our very first draft following this session. As I told you, on Fridays at 7 p.m., we meet on Zoom to discuss the practical issues of writing. And on Thursdays, we will have a Telegram discussion session. You can submit your drafts. Your drafts will be peer reviewed and you will receive feedback from me and from your peers. So in our today's session, I'd like to start our session with the very question that we asked in the opening session. So what is a memoir anyway? So what are we going to write here? Does any one of you want to share their insights on what memoir is? In the meantime, we have the Nawaz from Chirchik, we have Nargiza from Jizak, who currently lives in Tashkent, and we have Sidora Bono from Samarkand. Well, and we have Kate. Nice to see you back. Okay, so the little boy is also sending her greeting. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. So what was a memoir anyway?
Can I
Yes,
answer?
sure.
As I remember, a memoir writing is like an autobiography, but it is not the whole life story, but it is somehow taken from our life story, and we can tell the people, and we can share some kind of ideas, or we can like benefit other people with our story.
Yes, very good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, here we are going to write a memoir. And the memoir is, as we have discussed last time, it's any non-fiction narrative writing that's based in the author's personal memories. So we discussed that it's very similar to autobiography, but at the same time, it's different from autobiography because an autobiography concentrates on the life of the author from birth till certain point in their lives, right? And it usually follows the chronological order, while memoir, it's selected memories from someone's life, usually written by the author. So in our today's Memoir Writing Club, the very first thing we are going to do is to discuss some of the ideas of memoir writing. Regarding the structure of memoirs and the ways to write it as a genre, we will not discuss it in detail today because I don't want to limit you. Memoir writing is really free and you should feel free to try a variety of genres, and that's basically the structure that you invent for yourself. Any kind of structures that you come up with can be fine for memoir writing. But there are certain tips that you should keep in mind when writing a memoir. The very first thing that I'm going to tell you is Avoid writing your entire autobiography, as we know that autobiography is a full story or full chronological fact book of your life, while memoir is a little bit different. It concentrates around one selective idea or memory from your life. So it's impossible to cram a million facts from your life in one little story or even in one book. That's why try to pick specific moments of your life when writing a memoir. I will give you different topics and different prompts, and you will come up with your ideas and write about one special moment of your life. So it shouldn't be entire autobiography. You don't have to start from the moment you were born. You will just start right away from the moment that you would like to discuss. This is the very first tip that you should know. Next important thing is memoirs are really pleasant to read because they create a sensory experience. I think you guys know very well what sensory experience is, right? So when you read a memoir, you will not just follow up words and letters and paper, but it will give you certain feelings, emotions. It will make you feel, hear, smell, taste, and just sense every aspect of the author's feelings. The best memoirs usually put the reader in the author's shoes. So when writing your memoir, try to describe your emotions and feelings at that exact moment in very detail so that your readers will feel exactly like you. Then you will have a really successful memoir. The next tip before we begin is don't start at the beginning. So, if you're writing a memoir for the first time, and I'm sure that many of you are doing this for the first time, right? So, you may feel tempted to start at the beginning of your life and then follow a chronological order, describe the moments you were at preschool, your first day at school. I strongly encourage you against this. Try to just pick one bright moment or one sad moment from your life and start from there. Then it's going to be a real memoir, but not an autobiography. The next tip to consider is you have to use fiction writing techniques if you want your memoir to be catchy and successful. What are these fiction writing techniques? Well, there are certain techniques that a fiction should include in order to become a bestseller. The very first technique is in the beginning, you should have a hook, some kind of sentence, some kind of imagery or a quote or something that catches the attention of the reader and makes them to read your word till the end. Or we will discuss many more techniques in upcoming workshops, but whatever the techniques you like using, use them. So that should be technique, right? Technique-based writing, not just citing the facts. So try to create dialogues in your memoir if you feel so. Maybe you had a very interesting conversation with someone, or maybe you can talk to yourself in your memoirs, but it should be very suspense. And as a technique, I recommend you one most used technique of memoirs: show, don't tell. So you don't have to describe everything. You don't have to describe feelings. Instead of saying, I was feeling ill, you should show it. When I looked at the thermometer, I saw that my temperature was rising high and high. The first sentence gives description. Second sentence puts the reader in your shoes. So you have to show the reader how you felt, how you looked, what were your fears, and etc. But you shouldn't describe everything, otherwise it will look like an essay. And the next thing is collapse your characters and events. So how would you understand this? Collapse your characters and events. Before I get to this, do you have anything to say about it? How can we collapse our characters or events in our memoir? Does anyone want to give an insight to it? Okay, it's okay. Do we have anyone? I think Malika wants to speak, right?
Hello, everyone. And I think that when we should collapse characteristics and events, we need to show them like we need to show them. We need to make them interesting, but not in a monotonous or boring way. We should find uh, uh, kind of develop the I don't know, that event with adding something new and interesting ideas, or I
Very
think
good.
that's it.
Good. Thank you. You were very close. Thanks. So collapsing your characters and events in your memoir means that you shouldn't use known cliche characters like your best friend, your mom, and etc. Instead, try to focus on some characters that you cannot usually find in memoirs. Maybe in the morning you met a beggar, or maybe on the bus you saw a person who didn't have one ear, someone like that. So your characters shouldn't be predictable. They should be very much different to those that we already know. Try to focus on the people and events that are essential for the story, but not essential to you. So it should be very tempting to bring your closest people to your memoirs. Yes, please do so, but try to include other characters, different characters as well. Make your characters collapse. Don't give the reader what they expected. Rather, give them something new, something unpredictable, and then your memoir will be really catchy and suspenseful. Last but not least, write every day. If you really want to write, then there is only one way of practicing it. Write every day. Well, if you plan to start writing, especially if you plan to earn through writing, then you will have to really try hard to write every day. Because, as you know, writing can develop when you establish a routine. For someone, it's really good to write in the morning. Someone finds inspiration in the evenings and the quiet times. For someone, it's really inspiring to write in a noisy places like in cafes. So whatever your routines are, establish them and try to write every day. Maybe it's just a simple paragraph, but make sure that you write every day. Even you can put memos on your phone if you feel like you will forget it. Try to write. So if I give you this task today and if we are going to discuss this task next Tuesday, don't wait until Wednesday night to start. So write every day, it's something every day, and then you will really develop a story because every day you will look at your writing with new insight. You will see new sides of your writing, and eventually it will end up in a very good work that you really wanted to write. So these are the basic tips that you should consider before writing a memoir. Well, next thing that we should discuss is there are many types of memoir. When you are writing a memoir, you should firstly choose what you will write about. You can alternate your topics every time. So this is basically a free writing workshop. Will not force you into any structure or into any genre. You can experience and try many genres and variety of structures. So some memoirs can be built around celebrity lives, politic figures. We meet this kind of memoirs a lot. Recently, I have read about Kamala Harris' life. That's a memoir written by herself. It was very interesting, yes. And this kind of works are about celebrities, famous people. There can be travel memoirs, there can be food memoirs, why not? And there can be memoirs about love and romance, it's about career, it can be illness story, humor, call to action memoirs, whatever type you choose, just make it work for you. The main thing for the memoir is it should be true to you because it's your story. So if it's true for you, the audience will feel that it's a true story and they will accept that. So in our workshop, we are going to write on the variety of types of the memoirs. So we'll not really concentrate around one type. We will write about traveling, we will write about feelings, we will write about people's behavior in certain situations, and etc. Okay, now I'm going to give you a small exercise. In memoir writing, there is something called six-word memoir, and it's a really famous kind of exercise that memoir writers practice. Here on the screen, you can see examples of 3 memoirs consisting of no more than 6 words. So very first one is for sale, baby shoes, never worn. Only 6 words and it's a memoir. These 6 words strongly tell you a story of miscarriage or a woman losing her baby. The next one is fall down, get up, and repeat. That's also a memoir, that's someone's story. Or words strung together make a life. That's also a very strong definition of how you lived. And actually, memoir writers, when they are trained in a workshop, they are required to do this kind of games. Now I'm going to give you 3-4 minutes to come up with your own memoir. It should be about your life or it can be your fantasy. Let's see who can be creative enough to come up with a memoir with no more than 6 words in 3 minutes. Time is running. You can you can type your memoirs in the chat, or you can tell it if you want after the time is up. Now take your time and consider the 6-word memoirs. Maybe we have very creative people among us and you will come up with really original ideas. So time, let's work on that a little bit. Whenever you feel ready, you can type your answers in the chat box. Or you may take your turn. You can narrate it right here. In the meantime, Ziponoso is writing that she's having internet connection problems. She's our very fervent participant. She's from Tajikistan. I'm delivering her greetings to you. Okay, I think it's taking a little bit even longer, right? If anyone has already ideas, you may share. Okay, it's becoming very noisy. Can you guys please speak one by one? Or you may click on the raise hand button.
Если человек всегда плачет от смеха, вот дома я ржу от смеха. Я тебя понимаю, просто мне себя жалко.
Okay, I think I will have to mute our participants. So, dear participants, you may just type your answers throughout our workshop in the chat box. I will continue now with the lecture, and at the end of our workshop, we will read the most interesting 6-word memoirs. Okay, so you may just work on that and then type it in the chat. Well, let's continue then. Okay.
Sorry, should we use only 6 words?
Yes, no more than 6 words. There is a strong word limit.
And it should
somehow relate to your
show
life.
Okay.
Okay, right. So anytime when you are ready, you can send it in the chat. Thank you. So now I would like to talk a little bit about your brain and how words affect your life. Okay, we are receiving some of the interesting examples in the chat box. I will read them in the end, so I will give chance to others to finish up their works, and then we will read all these words. Okay, so your brain on words. The words have capacity to affect your brains. Well, when you start to tell anything in the tone of the tale, your brain believes it. So brains are constructed to receive tales. That's why telling a tale, fairy tales, these are important parts of human civilization. And also, classical language areas of the brain involved in language processing are Broca's area and Wernicke's area. They are activated when we listen or read tales. In 2012, a study found that words with strong odor association, so words strongly telling about smells like lavender, coffee, they can activate the areas in the brain which are responsible for receiving smells. So actually, if strong words are used, you are able to smell these words basically in your mind. And also another study shows that if strong colors are described in writing, your mind's eye will be able to see them. Like, let's say your dress was lilac colored and you brightly see that lilac color in your mind's eyes. So it means that reading, it's not just focusing on a paper full of typed or written words, but it really creates emotions. It creates feelings in your mind. So you truly experience all these things in your mind. That's why writing is a very strong influencer. Also, words like velvet and leathery light up the sensory cortex. So when you read these words, you start processing these words in your mind. You feel like as if you are walking among these things. Words like kick or grab, they light up the motor context. So when you read about strong action words, then you feel that your fingers are trying to grab something or you start a movement even if you don't notice it. So your brain is so much influenced on words. That's why writing and reading are effective tools to making change happen. The very reason why we are organizing writing club for women is that women should be able to express themselves on words, make themselves heard, make their voices clear and heard all around the world. That's why we are using words as a tool to empower women. And this Memoir Club is basically about you telling your story in any free structure, in any free way. Okay, in memoir writing, I don't really recommend you to write about anger memoirs. So, like when you felt angry about someone and you write about it, it's going to be a very cliche story. And also, I'm so awesome, I'm so great type of memories don't really attract readers. So, if you are writing a sad memory, try to make it realistically sad. If you try to make it too sad, it's going to feel like a fake work and etc. Well, next thing is, here is the task that you are going to follow up throughout this week. Okay, this week we are going to write a memoir based on the feelings of shame or guilt. You can pick up any feeling. It can be shame or it can be guilt. So guilt is adaptive and helpful. So what is guilt? It's holding on to something that we have done or something that we failed to do. Yes, that's a psychological discomfort you feel in your brain. And shame is intensely painful feeling, an experience of believing that we had flaws, or that's why we are unworthy of love, or we are unworthy of anything good. So this kind of feeling probably felt by everyone. I'm sure that every one of you have felt ashamed or guilty in our life. Yes. So for our very first memoir, I really want you to concentrate on this topic. Pick up the moment you felt ashamed or guilty and try to build a story around it. In the first draft, you don't really have to give the full story. Just remember the moment when you felt ashamed or guilty. Then write anything that comes to your mind associated with that. And that's going to be your very first draft that you will submit on our Telegram group till Thursday, and we will discuss and peer review this draft. So I repeat again, your task is based on the prompt, shame versus guilt. You will pick the moment of your life when you felt guilty or ashamed. And then you will freely write anything that comes to your mind. Your writing should be around 300 or 500 words. It's okay if you write less, or it's okay if your word count exceeds, because it's not really about limits, it's not essay for application, it's just free writing. It's about expressing yourself. And when you have this first writing, that would be your very first draft, and then you will submit it, we will peer review it, and then in the next session, we will discuss about structures, language, and words to use. We will give feedback on each other's work, and then we will have a very good story to continue with. That's basically what we are supposed to do this week. Now, I would like to write some of the interesting ideas that we had on our chat. Okay, just let me start. Okay, we have so many great 6-word memoirs. Okay, born to live, born to live for death. Good. Energy in the mornings, emotion in the evenings. A little bit more than 6 words, but still really philosophical. Starting by finishing. Great. We have so many creative people. Abandoned house full of people today. Well, very, very much emotional. Yes, people, I hear you, but I feel myself. Very good, very good. A little bit more words, but very strong feelings that you have created in this message. Next one, I live as a forgotten child. Very strong. She cried for the first time. That's also something really tells the whole story about someone's life. Yes, it's just 6 words, but it gives you the whole picture. Adult children, baby parents, also a family. Great, a very humorous approach. A stressed teen have family problems. Great. Beauty and wealth don't worse health. Seems like a quote. Still, that's a very good 6-word story. I lost you and I lost myself. That's the bonus sauce memoir, and it really tells everything about her life, right? Very interesting works we have received. Picked roses cry looking at the soil. Very deep. Give yourself a chance to succeed. Kind of advice like memoir, right? When you write, we will have a letter to our younger self. We have done it in our previous workshop as well. And in that kind of writing, you can use this. Being happy by having a family, great. A day with peaceful morning, a day with peaceful night. A little bit exceeding words, but still very deep. Laying the table for one person. Wow, that's great, right? Can you feel the loneliness? A lonely story from this 6 words. Abandoned child never abandons others. Okay. And who believes butterflies can the world? Butterfly effect. That's taken from the movie, right? I close my eyes to see. That's also very much deep. So opposite words actually create the greatest board games. I'm the beginning and I'm the end. Mohinar's version is also really great. Kurshoda, I love your story. Okay, we are already receiving replies. Find yourself, start your way. Success. Okay, well, probably that's pretty much it. Now we are receiving oh, I always forgot we read everyone's work, I hope. Okay, so great. As I see that we are working with some of the most creative people of Uzbekistan, right? You really have something in you that makes you like writing. So I hope that today's session was helpful for you. We don't run sessions for a long time. We have 40, 45-minute session, and we don't really want to take up too much time of yours. I understand we all work and study, we are busy people, but it's great that you all find time to write about yourself, to express yourself in this busy, busy world. So we keep in touch with in our Telegram group all the time. You should. Yes, I will send you the presentation. I will send it to the group. So you can ask any questions related to anything in the Telegram on how to write, where to start. And maybe you need some help, maybe you have some suggestions to give for us. So I can be contacted by email or on the Telegram group anytime. Do you guys have any questions about the work that you should prepare till the next week? Is everything clear?
Sorry, when we have our next workshop?
So on next Thursday at 7 p.m.,
Uh-huh.
we will have discussion on Telegram. So you should submit your first drafts. We will read each other's drafts and give feedback to each other. So it's going to be basically discussion session. And next Friday on 7 p.m., we will have our next workshop, practical workshop on Zoom.
Thank you.
Thank you. So if you have any questions during the week, if you need any help, if you are feeling you're not able to start or you don't know where to start, you can ask help from me and you can ask help from your peers. So in our Telegram group, we create actually a community where we can offer help to everyone who starts writing. Well, yes, we start drafting one memoir, further shape it, make it one story in 1 month. Throughout the 6 months, if you stay with us, you will create 6 stories overall. Well, thank you everyone for being with us today here. And if you have any questions, I am always there on our Telegram and Facebook groups. Feel free to ask questions. Also, you can email me your drafts if you want my feedback on that, if you feel shy of sharing it with others. So I'm always in touch with you. Thank you for joining our session. Our today's session was really interesting. So many interesting people we have met today. Well, thank you so much for being the part of this workshop today. I will be seeing you guys